Webster will too. Lewis Hall, as you mentioned, very impressive in midfield. 94 degrees, it feels like 105 in Central Florida from the Wide World of Sports complex outside Orlando. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, the ICC Futures Championship final. Bayern Munich of Germany taking on English side Chelsea. Devin, yesterday a lot of the story for Chelsea when they played Celtic was similar styles at different tempos. For Bayern against New York Red Bulls, it was totally contrasting styles. What do we see today between these two teams?
Well, Bayern got a little taste of the medicine coming from New York Red Bull. That's going to be similar on the offensive side of the ball. The main key difference between Chelsea and Red Bull, the previous opposition, is that Red Bull really only had one speed. It was go direct, and go as fast as possible. Chelsea's different. Much more deliberate in their actions. They have the ability to hold up the ball. On the other side of things, Chelsea, they've seen this before. They've seen teams that want to be able to hold the ball, push it around. Celtic, just 24 hours ago, did a good job toying with them at certain points in time in the game, but Chelsea able to withstand the pressure, pick and choose their moments, and they were able to come out on top at the end of it.
The foul was by Brody Hughes, and there's Gigi Lore. Just incredible young player. Winding it up the left-hand channel. Bayern gets the cross away. Fauser was coming. Down by Sully, and now a shot rings off the post. Lifted away by Thomas. Still more, and Fauser dispossessed. Home on! Ring it way right. And Bayern, less than 100 ticks in. Nice opportunity.
The Germans getting in. How about Sully bringing it down off his chest? That's number 16, Iden, stepping up. Nice little half volley off the pitch, picks out the far corner. Impressive stuff from Bayern early on.
For Bayern, it was that one superb effort. Bayern Ibrahimovic. A late jersey number change. Ibrahimovic joining the trip. In place of Marcel Venig. This is Thomas in pursuit. Down toward Fauser and taken away by Soonsup-Bell. He shined on this big stage. Soonsup-Bell laying it off. There's a chance now for Chelsea. It'll fall away from Tomlinson and finds Dressel. Both these teams, this is game 6. It's 7 days, and they've come out firing at the outset, Devin.
It's crazy to think because of the amount of effort that they've had to put in. I mean, the heat, the humidity, all these variables coming into play. Let's not forget the mental tenacity it takes to continue to persevere in conditions.
Lore for Ibrahimovic. Brings it down, dispossessed by Roberts. Different passer, but Ibrahimovic, that's the kind of ball he ended up scoring on yesterday against New York.
How about Soonsup-Bell? We've seen him in transition going the other direction. This time using that big body and frame. It's a teasing ball across the top of the box. And there's the rust. Number 16, William Tomlinson, not really game ready. You see him slowly making his way back into this pitch. He's got to get acclimated to this environment, get up to game speed. You can see him just a little tentative in his actions. Want to hit that first time.
It'll be a corner for Charles Webster. There's Soonsup-Bell in the thick of it. And a short corner. Akpan. There's the ball across from Webster. Hops up, Akpan along with Fauser. Brought down by Hall. Hall from distance. Well, the question Devin has to be, can these teams keep it up for 60 minutes?
We've seen Lewis Hall quite a few times in these situations. It's good stuff, good technique, touch across the body. It's difficult though. Defenders coming over your left shoulder, the press, and still trying to come across the ball, get enough power. That's why he drifts back, loses his form, a touch, sails it over the bar. But like you said, opening 5 minutes, some end-to-end stuff from both squads.
Like Eberhardt, in from the Hoffenheim Academy, scored the winning penalty in their quarterfinal victory for Dortmund. Two teams that play each other often and found themselves playing thousands of miles from home.
A matchup that was bloodbath. They kept going back and forth, heavy tackles, a lot of emotion. It's exactly what we expected out of the game, but fortunately, number 4, Jonah Husek from Dortmund, just second kicker, got his PK saved by Tom Hulsman.
Soonsa Bell, run over by Eberhardt. Bayern has not allowed a goal in this tournament. Incredibly impressive run to the final 3 group stage games, one which was a crossover that technically didn't count toward the standings. And they win in penalties against Dortmund, and one magic moment against New York. Fauser giving chase. Clark will pull this in. Captain's armband for this tournament, Chelsea goalkeeper. Philip Lisa, expertly weighted ball. Seen a lot of Soonsa Bell fall from this left channel. Yield is on the side, Kapake. Stretching over the back line, Fauser remarkably was onside. Yield is a real rocket.
You have to pay homage to Mo Boehringer in the middle of the field, drifting out, likes to sit in that number 6 holding midfielder role, drifts over to his left side, has the composure to take one look up and knock that 30-yard ball across the pitch to Fauser. It's exactly what they want out of the guy in the middle.
Lore. Clark will make the catch.
Take a look at the connections in this squad. Just saw one a second ago with Mo Homan and Raphael Fauser. Both of them coming over from 1860 Munich in the past couple years. They've got a third one that actually has been brought over by Peter Venninger, head coach from Bayern Munich. That's an impressive backline. You talked about the 3-back system. Number 15, Dimitri Kania. All 3 of those guys coming up through the 1860 Munich program. And just in a year or two starting to shine, make a name for themselves. Bayern Munich taking notice of it, bringing their talents down to the Bavarian area.
Solly. And this will run out. Devin, you think about these two teams, and obviously 2 of the biggest names on the planet, but historically their academies haven't been as fruitful as you would have anticipated. For Bayern, they bring in the FC Bayern campus. It opened just about a year ago. It'll be a year on August 1st. For Chelsea, Cobham is now 10, 11 years old. And the hope is they're going to be able to withstand the growing transfer market and build from within in the future. This could be that future.
It's been interesting. A lot of growing pains, and both squads have been very vocal about it, making some notable changes in the head offices, building new training grounds, rebranding, if you will.
Thomas thrown off the ball.
Bayern and their new campus and all the guys that they brought in. Peter Venninger is part of that. New sporting director for the U9 to U15 level, assigning mentors when the boys come onto the grounds for the first time. And on the other side, Cobham, they're very frustrated. That rebranding really started 11 years ago. And as we're talking right now, they're extremely disappointed in the fruits of their labor because they're only sitting 9th with regard to their Premier League rivals and the products that they put on the field. So it's difficult when you put in all this effort and all these financials, you don't really have anything to show for it at the senior level.
Well, and they're hoping that results like this will begin to turn that tide in a tournament of this nature against varying styles. I've heard it from players both here and senior players as well. They didn't get to play American teams. They may have played other teams in Europe, but you think about Chelsea, only Ruben Loftus-Cheek has made it to the first team and onto the English national team for that World Cup run out of Chelsea's academy. He's been with them through the U8, U9 level and just carried right up to the top.
Most of the headlines you see go even further, and they say, we're looking, they're talking about the tenure, we're looking for the likes of the John Terry. We want to get someone at 9, 10 years old, bring them up through the academy, graduate the academy, and then be a star for the first team. Again, they put in some pretty nice projects that have come out, unfortunately for them, on the other side of things. Dominic Solanke, who is now with the Liverpool program, they got him at 9 years old, carried him to 17, shined for England at the U17 World Cup. And then Liverpool swoops in and signs him. So that's what they're trying to avoid. How do they keep their homegrown talent?
And by Thomas, Webster, upended. Fair play, says Wilson to Costa. Sully, good cutback, the shot is in! Oh, what a rip! And Bayern Munich strike first.
When you watch Bayern Munich, you see a lot of touches on the ball, a lot of interchanging play. We use the word systematic in their approach going forward. So you don't see a lot of individual glimpses of brilliance at times. Number 14, William Sully, says, you know what? I'm going to change that. It's a good ball down into the channel. He goes one-on-one. Nice cutback versus Brody Hughes. Takes one look up, and he hasn't done anything since the 52nd minute of the first game versus DC United. But that all changes early on in the final.
A long time coming. Young player that's worn a hole in the grass on that side of the field, making runs up and down constantly this Floridian heat.
What's interesting, Mike, is that they used him on a regular basis in that game versus DC United. He was isolated up top in the number 9 spot, and then they moved him over to the left. When he scored that late goal in the 1-0 victory, he was out alone on the left-hand side. And you see Peter Wenginger starting to move the pieces around, deciding to give Fauser the start, bringing him on the right. Previously, they were using number 19, Benedict Holzmeier. Not the case, going very smart in his actions, and it's paid off.
There he is, Sully, showing off the technical skill. Iden opening up to it, Yildiz. Yildiz can shoot from here, and a save by Clark. Leaping out to steer it aside. As Andy Ross looks on, his goalkeeper coming up with a big save.
Stuff from Yildiz, pulls it back across. Sikapake diving in. This is probably wide of the goal, but it's smart by Josh Clark. He understands the threat, just pushes it to the side. It's well done by the goalkeeper. Better safe than sorry.
Very young Chelsea back line.
Lugo.
Clark's been the ringleader, trying to bring it all together. Yildiz. The service. By Bell. Sprint is on. Goalkeeper way outside his area. Webster has taken it away. Webster, can he finish? No, he won't get there in time. And Dressel, a big sigh of relief. You have to do more if you're going to come that far out.
Timon Dressel getting the start. He was the question mark coming into this match for Bayern Munich. Gets lost in La La Land. And how about number 8, Charles Webster, continues to persevere down. The tackle is great. Unfortunately, the touch too far out in front of him, and he can't chase it down.
Devin, that's one where, as a more experienced goalkeeper, if you're not going to get there, you steer that out to touch, right?
100%. Just knock it out. live to fight another day. But again, we saw it from number 16 on Chelsea, the Rust, William Tomlinson. There's exact representation by Dressel.
A touch from Dressel, able to keep it moving across parallel to the byline. The corner and ensuing thrall for Chelsea. There's Peter Veninger. Mentioned just how crucial he is to the overall development structure at Bayern. Lifted toward Webster! Chelsea equalizes with a little bit of magic. Buckle in, this final's got it all, and we're only 16 minutes in.
Remember, this is the first goal that Bayern Munich have given up all tournament long. Chelsea, they trust their players. They separate them a lot, only bring them together for tournament play. Soon-Sub Bell knows that someone should be in the dead space behind him. He trusts the process, plays it over his shoulder, and Charles Webster likes to sit in the number 10 spot, just waits, very patient. As this ball comes in, you see him, dives to the 6-yard box, puts it to the back post, off and running, and he gets paid off for his efforts just moments ago.
Scott Van Pelt just got his first highlight for top 10. Look at that. Webster's first of the tournament and a hydration break for the hard work. How about that?
Is that they can share together the way of football that they are playing. This is a good experience for the kids, for them first of all, because the people coming from different parts of the world. This is the best part from my point of view.
What do you think about the ability to see different styles of play match up in this kind of international youth tournament? Special, isn't it?
It's really special. I believe these are special things about the tournament because, especially for kids, the moment you have the opportunity to live the experience, not to hear about the experience, but to live it, this is the best part. And because you can really fit on you can really feel it, and you can really learn. The best way to learn is when you lose something or when you leave something. This is my ways. So for them, it's a great opportunity.
Gigi Lore bringing this forward. This will get chipped aside.
Alessandro, I know your counterpart that was with you yesterday, Maldini, has a tennis background, making his debut a few years ago. How about today, your countryman, Francisco Molinari, getting the first major?
It's amazing. Yeah, we were following this morning, and how he did it. He's a great guy, first of all, and he already won a lot of tournaments, but you know how special British Open. So we all of us as Italian, we are so proud of him, especially after the World Cup that we are missing.
How about
and
this
they
goal?
score. And they score.
Incredible goal from Kania. That's pretty good, right?
Well, I don't know. I was watching you guys,
Oh,
so
come
I
on.
missed it. So, but of course, I will see you somewhere.
Alessandro, thanks for the time.
You're welcome. See you later, guys.
More
Ciao.
goals to come. Devin off the corner. It's a second ball recycled in, and Kania is there.
Unfortunately, this ball actually comes into the middle of the mix, and right here, it's going to take a deflection off Soon-Sub Bell. He gets caught off guard, which enables the deflection to come right around the penalty mark. Number 15, Kania, that big frame. They utilize him in space usually for an aerial attack, but this time as the ball comes out, takes it off the one-hopper just to the left. That's where all the training in the world starts to pay off, because you see his form doesn't get rattled in the pressure situation, keeps his knee right over the top of the ball, just picks a corner, goes with it, and that's a solid finish from that young man.
Well, we knew there'd be more. That's been the case. 21 minutes in to our opening 30-minute half, and 3 goals on the board already. Bayern first, Chelsea responds, and Munich again. And the pressure solely back on the North London side. Steered away from Thomas, and there's Iden.
Johnny!
Solely in pursuit. By the way, how about having Alessandro Del Piero here. He's been around the last couple of days. Talked about how Maldini was here yesterday, and this ICC has this giant footprint for the first teams that have come over. All 8 UEFA Champions League quarterfinalists in the tournament this year. But they're adding a women's tournament in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. Then they're adding this youth element that we saw in Sports Illustrated. They're comparing to a potential Little League World Series style footprint.
You can understand that if you take a look at the 24 teams now, we mentioned the 8 UEFA countries coming over, 8 all-star teams for the United States, then you had the 8 developmental academies. And the organizers just saying, we think that this could be the biggest youth tournament in the world. And it's understanding, rightfully so. You take a look, and look, if you start locally, you go with the local leagues where you get Dortmund and Bayern Munich playing each other. And then as you continue to progress, maybe they get involved with the European nations. But just like the Little League World Series, you acquire teams from Asia, you get teams from Canada, the Caribbean, United States. Bigger ones might acquire extra spots, but either way, it's such a great opportunity from an exhibition standpoint. You put these kids in pressure-packed situations. That goes back to the PKs that we talk about and bringing those into group play. Just allowing everybody to experience these things at a global level. Obviously, sky's the limit.
Saw Kyrell Wilson and Emron Soglo come in. Drilled long by Hall. Soonsa Bell doesn't have a highlight in him here. It's just a bit out of his reach. Del Piero talked about it. He experienced the whole thing. It's a 10-day trip. These teams taking a couple flights to get here, staying at really nice hotels. They end up at Disney World. And then, of course, you're playing. At Bayern, that means practicing twice a day, including games to their schedule. Really busy as they're trying to make the most of the opportunity to train, become better footballers. Long. This is Flowers come into the game. Flowers through, pulled down. This should be a free kick. It's just outside the area. Frighteningly close for Bayern. Chelsea, dangerous position.
This is close. One-on-one. Great decision by the referee. Just outside the box. That's our goal scorer, number 15, Kania. 2 hands on in the situation, but he was beat. Actually think there was no reason for him to pull there because he had reinforcements coming on the backside from his other defenders. But the good thing for them is it's outside the box. The bad thing is number 6, Lewis Hall, standing over it. We've seen him hit some dangerous ones early on.
Hall pings this across. Soonsa Bell heading, and off the post, the follow is up and over from Soglo. Hughes unlucky that doesn't bounce the other way. And Chelsea tantalizingly close to an equalizer.
The piece that is always at the forefront of everyone's mind, Soonsa Bell, number 9, drifts to the back post, does exactly what he should do, puts it right back into the mixer across the 6-yard box. How frustrated is he? Soglo has an awesome opportunity to put them in striking distance and tie this up at 2-2. Sails it over the bar. His emotion got the best of him.
12 years old still. Playing up. Solly pulls it back and drives into space. He's against Hughes now. Watch Solly go. Setting it up for Ibrahimovic. Bayern controls again. Soglo scored the 5th penalty for Chelsea yesterday against Celtic after 2-2 draw in regulation. Solly's putting on a clinic for everybody. Service not quite as impressive, and this will deflect off of Bayern on the clearance and out for a goal kick. Solly came in for this.
He's trying to catch his breath now. How about that one, huh? He's been so active on the left-hand side, and Chelsea very frustrated by his technical capability, what he's been doing.
Webster 16th minute goal set up by Sun Sabel. It's on level terms. Soglo. Philip Lisa. Thomas. Lost it from behind Aiden. And now the foul with Soglo going in.
Good look at William Sully just a few minutes ago. Just teaching him how to love it, how to caress it. How good is that, man? One touch around, one touch in. No problems there whatsoever. Gets around the third guy. Jeez.
You read the Sports Illustrated article that did come out, whether it's the coaches from New York or DC United, Seattle, you do get the feeling that they're aware there's a 100-year lag between where these teams are, where the American clubs are in building their academies. Do see the technical skill from time to time, but it seems to be a little more consistent in these couple groups. Aiden striding forward, it's a foul. David Roberts and Lewis Hall converging on Aiden.
Charlie, five.
Bayern Munich doing a good job moving the ball around the pitch and just pushing down through. Gets in behind Lewis Hall and Roberts, pushing him to ground. You could hear Josh Clark just moments ago. He wants 5 in the wall. Got to stack the big bodies, lock this up so can't put a strike on the frame.
And we've seen some great strikes on frame in this tournament from here.
Just moments ago, we made the reference to Lewis Hall and what he's been capable of. Also, number 8, Charles Webster. But now you're on the other side of the ball. Bayern Munich sitting 2-1 just before halftime. How pretty would this be to get something before heading into the dressing room?
Aiden will shoot for goal. Swung it over the crossbar.
Not bad, not bad. You can see right as he strikes through it, starting to fall away from the ball. Couldn't make up his mind as to whether he wanted to push a bunch of power behind it or bring the spin around, bring it to the near post to really challenge Josh Clark and that wall. But Limbo knocks it over the top of the crossbar.
Foul. Chelsea will have the ball with 15 seconds plus stoppage to go from here in the first half. 2 30-minute halves with unlimited substitutions. It's 105-degree heat. The ICC Futures Championship Trophy sitting just off field side. Webster tries to poke it through. 1 minute added time this opening half. Collision with Flower going to ground. Ullman. We're talking about players stepping onto a grand stage and making the most of it. Soli, Ullman, Lore, among those who can stake their claim. Just behind Sole. Eberhardt, clever stuff. Drills the cross. Skitters all the way through. Ibrahimovic be able to track this down. Halftime whistle, and Devon, Bayern concedes their first goal of the tournament. They've got 2 absolute beauties. It's 2-1 through 30.
It's quite fair between the two.
Holzman has taken over in goal for Bayern Munich. This was the plan coming into the day. He has not conceded yet in this tournament. 14-year-old now is the man between the pipes, trying to preserve this advantage.
Thank you.
And there he is, Holzman. Joined the Bayern Academy just last year as a U13, a Munich fan since he was 7 years old. Big Manuel Neuer fan. And there have been a series of articles comparing that pathway. Could he be the next? Who knows? Maybe one of the best in the world is playing right in front of us here in the inaugural ICC Futures Tournament. That is the goal. Here's Webster at the tying goal on a great effort from Sunsa Bell, one of the times he did get in behind. And this is high from Louis Flower. Well, Devin, we know what you want out of Chelsea here as we get a better look at the foul.
It's just Louis Flower coming through the middle. Likes to be in the one-on-one situations outside. Unfortunately, the touch fails him a tiny bit, and then Bayern Munich does a good job positioning, stepping in front, commits the foul.
There you see Bayern's 7-4 shot advantage, allowing the first goal they've conceded in this tournament. What did you like about Bayern? Where do they get better?
Bayern's been Bayern. They've done a good job holding possession up.
No goals!
Holman. It's away from Debrani.
Their game plan coming into any match is they want to impose their will on you. They want to make you do the work and do the chasing, and that's what we've seen so far. Head coach from Chelsea, Andy Ross, just said, he goes, when we've gone forward and done what we like to do, we look dangerous. Unfortunately for them, it was only about 10% of the time in the opening 30 minutes. And he said, you know, 30 minutes is a long time, especially when you're dealing with these elements. Again, everything feels like 105 out here. Your jersey starts to feel like 10 pounds. But when you get into situations like this, you can hit the reset button. Make Bayern do a little bit of the chasing. They need to experience some of the hard work that you've been put through, but also don't give the ball away just like that.
33rd minute, Chelsea trying to respond. There is no extra time. A level match would go straight to penalties. 2 30-minute halves. Well, Bayern's frustrated, but this is a Chelsea corner, rightfully so. You see there's a special penalty kick order. We've been calling it the ABBA order here, A-B-B-A, until it gets to that final sudden death round if you need to go to a 6th. No extra time, and of course unlimited substitutions for these players born 2004 or later. Oh, the field explodes there in the corner. Hall able to keep this, maybe a chance to cross again. Hall has found the room, sends it across. Brought down by Hughes. Marshland has come in on the left-hand side to start this second half. Didn't see much of him at all in the first.
It's probably one of the last things Andy Ross wants to hear.
That's the well, the ace in the hole for this Bayern team, isn't it?
Well, it's been interesting too, because again, outside of the first game where we saw that heavy counter from William Sully, number 14, we've talked about it before, and that was late stages of the game. They've really been slow in their efforts. That's what they like to do. They like to hold the ball and tentatively push the ball up the field, again, kind of picking and choosing their spots. But this game, it's been completely different. Everything on the counter, 100 miles an hour. It's not what we've seen from Bayern in the past.
Short corner being ridden out by Bayern. That's a free kick. Chelsea, a wild goal-mouth scramble earlier. Weren't quite able to put it in. Ball off the post. Could have leveled it a second time. It was off a recycled set piece. Put in play to the black post. Flower. Thomas. And it's a foul with Holman going to ground. Thomas sort of let this run through his body. He made something here.
Well, he was smart. He brought it back across, making the Bayern players guess, but the touch gets too far out in front of him. Moritz Homan does a good job stepping in, wearing that captain's armband today. The bulldog in the middle of the field who cleans up all the dirty work.
Big collision, play on. Flower working the left channel. Nobody there. And a player down. That's the last thing you want to see. Holman is down, and you can see excruciating.
Judson Bell. Big force. Homan is an immovable object. He's proving us wrong in that situation. Talked about the bullish work he does in the middle of the park, but Sunsa Bell going into that 50-50 ball, throwing his big weight and frame around.
Holman is down there. Hope that he's able to continue on. He'll hop back up. Wednesday, the International Champions Cup continues. Juventus and Bayern Munich, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Over on ESPNU from Lincoln Financial Field. Then Dortmund and Benfica match up at Heinz Field, 7:55 Eastern on ESPN News. Another look at Christian Pulisic, the U.S. international there. And Manchester City takes on Liverpool, MetLife Stadium, 8 Eastern, ESPN2. All 3 matches streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch them all at the same time anywhere. 6th Annual International Champions Cup presented by Heineken. All 8 teams from the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal in the tournament this year. Holman has returned, thankfully. Immovable object or not, he's clearly the most important player on the field for how Bayern wants to play. Little overhead kick to create some space for Fauser.
We saw one earlier from Sunsa Bell, and again, that's when you put these young men to a situation where they have to trust their teammates. I said earlier, trust the process, knowing that that overlapping run is supposed to be there. Sometimes when you get into the attacking third, it's okay to pull the gas off the pedal.
Ball bouncing toward Clark.
Going in transition, he saw the ball come in. Nice calm touch. Little flick over the shoulder. All right, boys, let's go. Let's get going the other way.
Nick Stark to throw. I haven't seen much of him in these knockout stages as both teams expanding a bit on their benches here. DeBrani and now Webster. Chance to see Bayern's depth. Chelsea's very much starting lineup still largely in the equation here. Fauser. DeBrani. Ooh, excellent. DeBrani still put it away by Roberts. Roberts really being challenged in this match at center back. Fauser goes to ground and grabs for his right leg.
It's a follow through by Imran Saglo. Prior to that, it's good work by number 6, Lewis Hall, winning the ball back in the hard challenge. You could hear manager Andy Ross, go again, Luke, go again. Plays a nice ball into Saglo, but turns it over. This allows Bayern to regain possession. And it's just a follow through by the youngster. Studs up right around midfield. Bayern an opportunity. Fowler standing over the ball, serve something in.
Fowler well enough to continue on here. Fowler's good to go. We'll put this in play for Bayern Munich. Bounces right into the hands of Clark with Brunner coming forward. That big number 9 for Bayern.
He was almost non-existent in the game versus Dortmund. And they went right back to the number 12 who sits in that 9 position. Striker spot up lone all atop.
Just under 100 degrees if you believe the real feel. I think these players would probably beg to differ. Of course, I also don't think they'd be talking about the temperature in Fahrenheit either, but to each their own.
Fortunately, I left my metric conversion at home. I'm sure you can help me out with that.
I can. Hall over on. He was held up by Brunner. No advantage there. Luckily, our producer Greg Pike didn't forget his calculator. That's 37 Celsius.
I was on my way doing that long math.
Yeah, you
couldn't
were.
Get to it fast enough.
Ball over the top. Thomas had the launch angle wrong.
It's the third or fourth opportunity we've seen from Chelsea down into the box that not necessarily a half chance, but decent look either way. Just can't finish it off. It's the second one from Thomas. Saw the one really early on from William Tomlinson, and then Saglo off the deflection on the corner.
Speared upfield by Webster. Webster again, the goal scorer. Leveled the match at a goal apiece. Hall. (2-1) Bayern Munich. All 3 goals coming in the opening half. This ICC Futures Championship Bracket Final. The inaugural ICC Futures Tournament. Coming to you from Wide World of Sports Complex in Central Florida. 8 all-star teams from different states across the land. 8 MLS academies, 8 European academies. Red Bull and Celtic bowing out in the semifinals, leaving us with these two. It's a matchup of organizations that met at the pinnacle of World Club football back in 2002, the UEFA Champions League final. And, well, if that's any idea of what kind of dramatics we're in for late, we're in for a good one with the trophy on the line. We're in that 2012 final. Didier Drogba was just a kid in 2002.
I'm sure he'd probably have other words in that situation. Probably disagree with you, but I can remember exactly where I was. 88th minute, header on the front post. And then he had the game-winning PK as well, taking down Manuel Neuer.
Solly returns. What an incredible first half he had, although he did look a bit gassed through it all. There's Solly right off the bench. Solly showing some energy. Clark, a kick save. Stuck his foot right in the ground, and now Solly is hit inside the area. It's a penalty. Roberts waving at the official, and Bayern will have a chance to double their advantage.
Every single player from Chelsea appealing to our referee. What a good ball in behind. The touch from Sully fails him, actually. Needed to be out in front. And rightfully so, our referee points to the spot. It's a penalty. David Roberts steps in. You can say he's laying chase, and this is one of those unfortunate situations in this sport where the ball's moving away from goal, but it's right out the top of the box. You can see about 1.5 feet inside or so. And right there, that's the youth getting the best of Sully. The momentum, very difficult to have a tiny roll in front of you to put something on frame and challenge the goalkeeper from Chelsea, Josh Clark. But as he chases down the deflection, David Roberts continues over, puts it to ground. This is a decent opportunity for Bayern to distance themselves from the boys in blue.
Wilson DaCosta from the Bahamas is the referee.
Another look, another rough challenge. Too late. Even if he gets a tiny touch, there's too much force behind it.
Big opportunity for Benjamin De Bruyne. De Bruyne against Clark. De Bruyne sends Clark the wrong way. Bayern 3, Chelsea 1. De Bruyne scored against the Pennsylvania All-Stars to end group stage play. This is a big one.
Yesterday versus Celtic, we saw Josh Clark employ a similar technique, pointing one direction, diving the other. He points right, goes left again, but De Bruyne not falling for any of the theatrics that Josh Clark is throwing at him. Very simple PK, just steps up, puts it on the pitch, bottom corner. 15 minutes left for these boys to close this game out.
To come back and push Bayern to the brink.
Andy Ross said it best. He said, you know, we're working so hard to get it and not doing very much with the possession we've maintained. Their bread and butter has been that quick transition going in the other direction, getting number 9, Jude Soutsa-Bell involved. We saw the great assist he had early on, but Bayern Munich has done a good job locking him up. Not a lot of help, not a lot of support from his teammates, and you've seen it. Charles Webster had the goal, but he's been quiet in the 10 spot. Number 6, Lewis Hall, just saw him at the top of the box, waiting for the ball to come to him. You have to attack those challenges and situations because Bayern Munich's too talented from a technical standpoint. They understand the threats. You have to go beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to give you space to play. Now that might be an individual stepping up in one isolated situation, which we saw earlier, the combination between Bell and Charles Webster, but they can't do it on their own. Where's Louis Flower? Where's Thomas? These guys got to help out.
Hall trying to slip Thomas through. Homan. Back pass, Thomas gave chase. Well done by Holzman. Avoid disaster. More trouble brewing. Soglo. Hall widens out. Akpan, who just came in, making his run. Flower didn't diagnose it in time. Hall. Hall. Not very clean right now from Bayern Munich. It's a free kick to Chelsea. Soglo rushing off. 12-year-old checking out. Miles Amadi, versatile. Play both wing backs and in the midfield. Now he's still making that transition, like Soglo, into an older age group. Soutsa-Bell will drive this toward the post. Little bobble. Holzman has it. Webster. Thomas, see you later. Thomas for Sunsa Bell. Homan. Bell's been able to hold on to this. So against David Roberts. He's only been with the Chelsea group a couple of years. Felt like he's had a really good tournament. Some struggles today.
Tie! New tie! Headers!
Home on.
Yes!
Header going backward from Bruner.
That's young Philip Lisa getting tangled up with number 12, Felix Bruner. Long ball played in by Mo Homan. You can see feeling the effect of the big frame by the forward. It's good grit by the youngster challenging the big German, but right now when he comes back around, his body lands on him. No malintent in the challenge, but gonna leave a stinger.
Flower. And Akpan coming. Solly, creative little dummy. Maybe help that along. Bruner here to touch that last.
Oh, that's a bad call. That's difficult from the referee's viewpoint, but the assistant on the touchline has got to get down to center field. This goes off the Munich player. This should be Chelsea going the other direction.
By the way, with the brief stoppage, our congratulations to Tottenham, the Spurs beating the North Carolina All-Stars for the Bowl. And in the plate bracket, ICC All-Stars from Virginia beating LA Galaxy U14s. Wonderful play. This began with 8 groups of 3. The winner moved on to the championship bracket, then second and third place were able to continue on with a chance for a trophy of their own. And Spurs and Virginia able to go home with something to show for their tremendous effort this week.
Had an opportunity to chat with head coach of Galaxy, Andrew May, and his boys right after their defeat. Unfortunate. That was a great match going back and forth, and unfortunately they just couldn't pull it out. Again, even though they championship bowl and plate, every single squad that we saw was extremely impressive. Walked over day 2, saw Galaxy take on Liverpool. Liverpool carrying most of the possession in the game and 5 minutes left. Galaxy turned it on, and the individual boys getting involved and just taking a match over. End up taking into PKs, winning that, and it was so cool to see the guys. You saw the joy in their faces as they win and able to carry it on to the final. Fortunately for them, ending in a defeat, but nice run.
Thomas is Chelsea trying to backheel through away from ominous clouds off in the distance. Thunderstorms each day of this knockout round here at Wide World of Sports. It's the only thing that's put a damper on this remarkable competition. The first of its kind, surely not the last. They're great, big, expansive plans. Folks that put this on, Relevant Sports, through the ICC. Flower, chance now, Sunsa Bell. Can they get one back? Hall misfires. Ton of English on it. Not the kind of moment could have given Chelsea good opportunity to get back in this.
This was this, wasn't it? Flower gets across, the touch by Bell, and it starts to play dominoes, falls to Lewis Hall, and you said it best, Mike. You could see the spin really coming across. When your momentum's already starting one direction, leaning to your right, ball's cut across your body, and that's hard to hit. That was it right there. Opportunity, momentum changer, just a few minutes left. Maybe get to 3-2 and try and squeak one out, much like their Celtic counterparts did late in the game yesterday.
Amani Richards for Flower. Last opportunities Andy Ross will have. Try and make a change, add some energy. Two of the world's biggest footballing giants sending their best young players overseas. Thomas trying to will Chelsea back into this thing. Ball toward Richards, cut out in time. Solly. You heard it right from John McLaughlin's mouth that head coach for Celtic fell out in the semifinal. We're trying to build Champions League footballers. These teams could say the same. If you make it to the first team out of these academies, you're almost guaranteed the opportunity. Quick restart for Munich.
Smart. Chelsea's dragging. Felix Brunner wasn't on the same page as his countrymen, and again, tick, tick, tick on the clock.
1 more minute plus stoppage. It's been physical. Chelsea have had their chances. They could have leveled this in the first half if not for the post sending the ball just a bit haywire back into the field of play. Lewis Hall is caught by Holzman. Came in from Eintracht Trier just a year ago. He's about a minute, perhaps 2 of stoppage time away, hoisting a trophy in a Bayern Munich jersey. Kind of thing so many young Germans can dream of. And, well, there are other awards to be won too, the kind of individual accolades that perhaps could be a precursor to long careers, dreams fulfilled at the highest levels of the game. Send 18 players, Devin. Everybody needs to be used over the course of these 7 days, 6 games. It's grueling. Bayern, by allowing just 1 goal in these 6 games, have appeared the dominant force, the deserving champion as it stands.
Well, you can see Chelsea in the final. They really hit a wall around the 45-minute mark, and even now, not that there's a lot of time left, but heavy legs, not a lot of enthusiasm coming out of the boys in blue. You can see it. Lewis Hall, number 6, the distributor all tournament long, not asking for the ball. The movement up top has been stagnant. They've made it very easy on their counterparts coming down the stretch.
Akpan, out of room, perhaps out of time. Sheer attrition. Chelsea side that spent the first couple days trying to get over the vicious jet lag. Told they spent the first day in the pool just trying to make sure they were awake late enough to get used to this. The heat, the humidity, an experience unlike any other. Incredible tournament. For Chelsea's side that surely has to keep their head high. The Blues have represented as well as anyone could imagine. One more look for Bayern. Thomas. It's full time. It's another trophy for Bayern Munich. They've captured the inaugural ICC Futures Championship.